Hello and welcome to the Advancement Centre once again, and welcome to the world of magic and miracles. Today we're about to go directly to where we're supposed to go and feel the energy flow straight away. As you're aware, this is your home. This is where everything comes from, and this is where you have the authority to determine anything you wish. It has nothing to do with the world that you walk around in every day. It has to do with what is created for that world. And it's not like things that have been taught to you. It is entirely different. It's where you stand in all your glory, to look down on the earth, to look down on the stars, and to look down on yourself. This is the structure that we've always known. This is where we advance. In this world, in the universal world, and the world beyond all worlds. Now that you can see you have authority over everything, it is not part of a mindset. It's not part of the definition of control. And it is not anything you do. It's what emanates from you, not so much to instruct, but to harmonize the movement, the interaction, and the development of everything that feeds towards your future. Where you stand, you're not interested in the future. It has no relativity to the beauty and the elegance of your position. As you progress in the physical world, it's prudent to understand that the unknown in the physical world is not unknown in the world where we stand right now. It has no definition. It's totally known. And everything in the physical unknown is accessible once you allow yourself to be in what physically is unknown. That's the world beyond worlds. That's that special place you are now, where you don't have any needs or requirements for anything. Nothing is connected in the world that you sit in right now. It is all moving. It's all you need. And you're not part of it, it's part of you. So the logical does not apply. The illogical doesn't apply. Nothing applies. To be able to get where you want and demonstrate who you are in the physical world, you need to be aware of your authority that doesn't come from thought. It comes directly from that impulse in your heart that says, yes, let's do it. As soon as that happens, you feel the energy start to grow and start to pull into place. all the things from outside this physical world that are needed to show your presence and your skill in the physical world. So when you're taught to never give up in the physical world, you know that that's not real. Because your spirit doesn't know what that means. It never gives up anyway. And it never causes stress or strain. And it never has a definition. So when you want to achieve something in the physical world, if you rise to the authority that you can feel now, and you still have the impulse to go for whatever is in front of you, you will give that authority and the energy will flow immediately. Everything in your world will change, and you'll come back after a fraction of a second with a big smile on your face, knowing that it will never stop. And so when I talk about a heart's desire, it's that impulse that says, let's do it. That gives authority to everything in your world and every world that's attached at that time to start getting its act together and making things come into reality that have never been there before. I can give many examples, but we're past that. We're past the logic of why, and we're past the reasoning. As you feel yourself in a position of authority, you will feel also that you're sitting on something that's quite different to a chair. You're sitting on an amazing elevation that can hold you anywhere at any time. You can stand in mid-air. You can sit above everything. And you'll have perfect balance and no sense of direction because everything is available all around you. I'm taking you to this place because that's where I come from. And the experience of being there again is something you should all take on. Not for any reason, but because it's yours. Not because it has an advantage, because there's nothing else. And not because it will do something for you. It will actually do everything for you. The idea of the advancement center is for this life to change totally. And it changes because of your advancement, not because of the world's advancement. The change that happened yesterday, you are not really interested in because you're living today. And you can't live today if you focus on the change from yesterday. So the advantage in moving forward is that you can experience everything that's happened, that is going to happen, and that's with you now, as a totally different feeling than anything you've had before. It's not even anything you can capture And to say it's always changing is only a natural thing to say. But when you're there, you don't feel that. You just feel the movement, and you feel the excitement, and you feel the harmony of everything and everyone. When you move back into thought patterns, you'll want to justify it. Don't be surprised if your body becomes extremely agitated and takes you back to where you just are now. That's the purpose of the advancement. To have your body respond to the best place, the best circumstance, the best of everything, without you saying a word. And if you sink, it will take you straight back up again, by some means or another. Because it's the vehicle that said it would do exactly what you wish. And the more you expose yourself to the perfection of what we used to call nothingness, you'll find your body will change. And so don't be so silly. There's no such thing as nothingness. It's not doing anything but feeling perfection in a whole different way and acting on different signals with a different set of tools. Where we are now, nothing misses our attention. Everything is attended to. The slightest thing has our attention. And before we have to even change focus, our gift is presented to achieve perfection in all things. Each one of us know there are others present, but at no time do we have to focus on that. At no time do we have to focus on another person, because it's already part of the whole system. There is no need to change any part of your flow or any part of your bodily systems. When you know you're sitting above it, totally attentive, and delivering all the nourishment that your physical vehicle can ever need in the first fraction of a second of every day. As we go further with the Advancement Centre, there'll be those of you who come forward and start your own. We're very close to that. We're very close to the financial system being balanced for us. But overall, each one of you is capable of doing more than is ever required in this world without moving one muscle. The only thing we're here for right now is to be ourselves. And nobody can tell you that except you. But the history of who we are is stored in everything around us. It's stored in the beauty of everything we see. It's stored in the energies we feel from the trees, the interaction with the birds, the beautiful feeling that we can have just walking past another person. None of it needs to be transformed. It's there as your history to encourage you to share with yourself the beauty that you've brought to this earth. There's no need to share it with others. That's already part of the system. Any effort to share with others will probably get some repercussions because the system of sharing is so perfect now that you disrupt it by trying to run it yourself. To just walk past a person or be with them like childhood friends is majestic. So all the things you've been taught to attract, to destroy, to manipulate, will disappear in a matter of seconds. And never come back. Every time we speak, we're at liberty to transmit the beauty of ourselves or the harshness of the world. There is nothing stopping you from doing either. But as you deliver the harshness of the world, you find you start to close the door to your own special being. Not because the world's wrong, but because you really know better. You know beyond a doubt that you don't hit your own hand with a hammer. And so the connection with other people is just as sensitive. You don't destroy any part of yourself that is being looked after by the presence of someone else. And that may mean that in the physical world, your reality has to be very, very precise. And it can only be precise if you live from where you are now. That precision is not defense. It's not being careful. It's not even precise in the physical sense. It's precise because you know it's precise. And any advice or examples that have passed on before are only to get your attention. They're actually quite useless. Because each one of you knows beyond a doubt everything of the known and the unknown and how it is used in the physical world. So in entering the physical world again, it's important that you retain your reality. And you'll see it overlay all other realities and enhance them without you changing a thing. It will maintain where you live, how you survive, even though you think it won't. There are many, many millions of interactions per day, and they are all different. But when you allow the program from childhood to be overwritten by training, you seem to think that all those interactions can be classified into one of 10 or one of 20 so that you can understand them. The very act of attempting to put everything together manages to kill a lot of things off. It's like putting harsh flowers with gentle flowers, with mixing things that don't match, with putting too much acidic into something that loves to be alkaline. By combining things out of harmony. So the precision comes from the knowing of the unknown and the knowing of the known. We have skills that get categorized in the real world of humanity. And those skills feel like they've disappeared. Your ability to know what's happening to somebody, to feel how they're feeling, to actually suddenly switch their focus so that they feel okay. All those things are now yours to play with once again and never be destroyed. Your authority is such that as soon as you felt it, all the energies come to life. And spirit jumps up and says, right, let's do it. So now we're about to move forward in the light that has no we can either enjoy it and keep moving fast, or we can stop and try to gather something we can explain. If we stop and gather something we can explain, we've gone into linear time. And we've limited our life, our freedom, and our capability in this world. If we simply move on and enjoy the ride, as you would if you were on a train, because you know you can't stop the train and get off all the time, you will accept the fact that life is moving, just like the train is moving. And you won't be upset by that. You'll actually enjoy it. Whereas everyday life says, no, you have to gather, you have to learn, you have to be able to do all this stuff. Where in fact, it's all there for your pleasure. It's all there for you to look at, to experience, to comment on, and watch it go past, just like you do in the train. There are times in your life where you will pull up at the station. and you'll get out and have a look around. But you won't go too far from the train because you know it's about to leave soon. Our life is that way. And we're at a train station right now where you can look around, you can check out whatever you want. But make sure, as soon as you get the signal that life's moving again, you hop on and enjoy the ride. The elegance of your own being will be enhanced every second by the feelings and the visions and the incredible expectations that come along the way. As we gather momentum, so we gather the excitement. And our world becomes thrilling. And when we arrive at what we think is our destination, it doesn't mean we can't get another train. It means we can stop at that destination, enjoy everything that we've gathered, talk about everything we saw, experience things with people who are at that place, make ourselves known, and know that as soon as we feel like it, we hop back on the train and allow ourselves to be accelerated further and further into the world of your Creator. All this can happen in one chair, in one house, or it can happen as you move around the world. They are not tied together in any other way, except that is where you decided to be physically, and this is where you decided to be as you. The you that I know, that I connect with, is the universal you that's everywhere, all the time, that understands and doesn't question, that knows beyond a doubt that it can hear the words before I say them. That universal you has qualities that are not describable. But in the next few years, everyone will be able to see it. And for us to be ready, it's really advisable that you use your authority to start to build the special essence that you and only you know you can deliver to this earth. That special essence is now coming alive. And you feel it, and you know it. And with my authority, it's now free for each one of you to live and enjoy every moment of your life. So with that, I think we'll just take a little break, allow you to enjoy every moment, and come back with that glow in your eyes, and the essence of your being totally active in your own special world. Thank you. Welcome back. We had a slight catastrophe during the break where we bumped a switch and one of the computers went off. So I hope everything was clear for you. But we're back there now, and I think it's just one of those things that come from the outside to change us slightly so that we have a little bit of a different direction. What we experienced before is still with you, and it doesn't go away. And you'll see that it never goes away, even if you try. This is one of the things that you always knew would happen. You always knew that if everything was okay, it was okay. You didn't have to do anything because it's okay. And if you made a mistake, it just bounced back again. This is where you are. The whole thing is reversed. So no matter what happens, just let it go, it'll float to the surface. Don't try to hold everything in place. Let it be. Watch things happen around you. And if you need to, just shrug and go, wow, that's interesting. But really, the more you get involved, the more you'll be forced away from it. Because your world is now like the rubber ball. You can squeeze on it, but after a while you get in so far you have to let it go because you can't hold the pressure. And you bounce back, and the ball bounces in the air, and you get an exciting result. So everything you come across, no matter what you do, you'll end up with an exciting result. The format that you had before was just about everything you came across turned to rubbish. That's gone. It's still in the physical world, but there's more garbage trucks. And it moves away very quickly. Where we're going from here is really exciting because each of you will find that you have these little events happening that you want to talk about, you want to tell people about, and you'll have no one to tell for a short time until you start to talk to yourself. As you walk around with that smile on your face, laughing about what's happening around you, knowing that it's happening in a parallel world, seeing that there are things that people think are the real life that really aren't, that can be cancelled in a second and they disappear. And you'll smile about it and you'll talk to yourself and you'll enjoy it and you'll talk to those friends who are close to you and it will gradually grow to where you'll hear somebody from way outside your circle starting to tell you what you're already living. And that's when you jump in the air and celebrate and say, yes, the system's working. I didn't have to go and show anybody. I just had to live it. And that's your authority working. Your authority to live at a level that is beyond anybody else's dream, but not beyond yours. Because your dream keeps going and it gets better and better. To compare it back to what's happening every day is actually a waste of time. So I won't do that anymore. I went through many, many examples and processes, and as has many, many people in the world. That's finished. If you need to find out anything about that, well, you can go back on all our recordings and all our writings and all the rest of it. But even down to my writing, I only have to write when I feel the need from somewhere else. I don't need it for me. I never have. I needed it for guidance when I was in the darkest spots in the world where I couldn't see. None of us are there anymore. We're in that elevated position where we can honestly say we have an elevated platform of living. And if we step off it, it's like stepping off the train. You don't go far from it, and you can easily get back. And if all of a sudden something really frightens you, you just jump straight back on the platform and go, "Whoa, that was close." And you can walk around talking about your experience, but you won't talk about any negative part, because all the negative part will disappear out of your field. You'll only know the excitement, like the excitement of almost getting run over. It's a lot more than actually getting run over. The almost is very exciting. The thrill of being able to respond quickly because of all the inputs that come into your system is what you're looking forward to. And some will call it a reflex action, but in fact, it is so fast it happens before the event arrives. And you know that you'll be walking around the house not really sure why you're delaying going out. Then all of a sudden you'll go, "I can go now." And you'll know you just missed something. And that's a thrill. You missed something in the world that was really going to disturb you. And that's the thrill. The thrill of missing it. So your whole experience in life will be quite different. Every time I speak about how a child handles things, there's a sense of, well, I'm not a child anymore. The biggest thing about being a child is that they do not have a clue about all the things that you made up. They don't have any idea how to make up problems, how to make up discrepancies between people, how to make up fights, how to make up wars. They don't know how to do that. So where you've moved to doesn't know either. So every time you try to understand what's being fed to you, you'll just shake your head and go, "I don't know what they're talking about. I have no idea. And if you asked me to do that, I wouldn't know how. You want me to be aggressive? Oh, you'll have to tell me how, because I don't know." So that's where you're going. That's where you are now. You won't be able to go back, but you'll get better at it. You'll get better at knowing the reality that has nothing to do with a planned vision or reality that you have in this world, in the physical world. And so most of the things that happen every day in commerce, industry, entertainment, whatever you like, are about to change, are about to reverse themselves. Even in the music industry, how they say we have great music, they have great distortion of music. They work on disharmony to stir people up. People are going to just feel a little ill when that sort of thing hits them, and they won't turn up anymore. So the harmony of music has been pushed out of the road for many, many, many years. real harmony of music, in a fraction of a second, can lift you through the roof. In dealing with people in any business, if you remember, way, way back, they used to talk about the value of a handshake. And that was sufficient to make sure a business transaction worked for 100 years. After that, they decided to write things on paper. You cannot write enough on paper to relay the interaction between two people. And so became the era of law, where they can prove that what's on the bit of paper allows some person to do the opposite to what was the agreement. That will disappear because each person will know as soon as they look at the other, or when they correspond with the other, or even think about them, they'll know they can have an agreement or they can't. Most of the people who have businesses right now, you can't have an agreement with, because as their circumstances change, they will change your agreement. And that's around about 99% of all our transactions. Within 2 years, it'll be the opposite. There'll be 1% that will change the agreements. Even if they can't be trusted, they won't change it because they know and they will know that you know. And what they used to call honour is not even a fraction of what you brought with you. There is no discrepancy in the interaction with people who are able to come from their own source in any transaction. Sounds a little strange right now, but I can assure you as we move forward, we will be able to stand in front of people and say, yes, do a deal with that person. No, don't. Our advice will be that simple. It won't be do this or do that or have this piece of paper or make sure of such and such. It'll be yes or no. And each one of us will be able to provide that service for anyone. Someone will say to you, what do you think about this if I work with this person? You'll say, don't. No other comment. Because it'll come straight in. You have the ability to do that. And if someone says why, say, well, you'll have to answer that yourself because that's not part of the deal. The simplicity is also part of the brevity. So the briefest transaction is in an agreement because it happens like that. And you know immediately it happens like that. Look forward to it. Find those agreements. And you will know that they last for a lifetime and more. We have a future that's not going to be based on commerce. It's going to be based on you. What's more valuable? You. What's going to be affected? You. How do I handle this? You don't. It is or it isn't. That's the simplicity. That's how the program works. You take your car back if, when you turn the ignition, it doesn't start. You don't want to know all the ins and outs of it. Simplicity is you put the key in, turn it, it starts. You used to have to learn how everything worked. Now you're not interested. Someone says, what's wrong with it? You say, it doesn't start. Can't you give us more than that? No, it just doesn't start. That's the simplicity. The expectation takes on all the steps that you really don't have to talk about. The expectation is for the car to go. All the steps that make that happen, all the manufacturing things that happen, and all the design, you're not interested in. That's part of the program of simplicity. Every time we go into the wrong area, we disappear into somebody else's world. In our movement throughout life, the simplicity will serve you. Simplicity to the extent of you don't even think about getting up and walking. You don't even think about the fact that it's your energy and your energy field that supports your body. You actually live it. So if I said to a young child, stand tall, they stand tall, and you say, taller, and they get taller. And they're almost lifting off the ground. And you say, what's holding you up? They say, I don't know. Now relax all your muscles and stay tall. And they can. And you can get them and wobble them, and they're taller because they've used those special energies that hold their being together. We can do all that. If I said that to most people that are, even if they're in training and they're fit, I said, stand tall. They go, and they get stiff. And you say, now let all your muscles go and stand a bit taller. They go, no, you've got to stay tall and relax all your muscles. And it takes quite an effort for them because they're trained that the muscles support you. And in fact, it's been known for thousands of years that you can lift your hand and not use a muscle. It's just an instruction to the part of your being that supports your hand. And it lifts up and everything's loose. And everybody can do it. So now, why do you hurt yourself when you're doing anything? Because you're using your influence over your body to tell it what to do, instead of just get up, just walk, just pick things up. Don't even bother. And if you look in the mirror and you don't look the right shape, you say, change, and turn around and walk away. And you don't even think about it. You don't do anything about it. 3 months later, you'll look at yourself and you go, that's better. Bit more, thanks. Off you go. It has nothing to do with the things that we've been focused on. All the things we've been focused on to do with sales. Nothing else. And so as a visitor to America, I look at the television and I shake my head and say, how can you watch that? I can feel the intensity of the programming and I have to turn it off. Because it's got to that stage where the programming directed at us is greater than the entertainment factor. And so it's now a tool, not of entertainment, it's a tool of manipulation. You can, if you want to watch television, turn all that off, as long as you don't instruct your body to do it. You use your authority to turn it off so that your body doesn't take any notice of it. But it still gets a little bit aggravated after a while. So where we're going in a real sense is unexplainable or inexplanatory, or whatever you call the right word, to the extent that if we try to consider explanation, we can't get there. So we use simplicity and we go straight there. Simplicity in the form of whatever you like always works. Because there is no consideration in simplicity. Press the button, it works. If you don't press the button, it doesn't go anywhere. So that the movement that you need in life comes automatically. Like if there was a loud noise near, we'd all jump. It's automatic. So the movement and the simplicity is, it's already there. You don't have to do anything with it. Each day I spend many hours feeling what's happening with the trees, the little plants we've got, the various activities, all the birds and little lizards and lots of other critters that come in and out of our life. And I do that because if I don't stay ahead of what's being delivered, it gets lost. What's being delivered into the world is so immense right now, and it needs a place to go. And so the further ahead of everything you are, the further out front you are, the easier it is for you to welcome it into the world. And to welcome what's coming and what's happening every day is almost overwhelming. The thrill of feeling some new feeling or new energy or new whatever you like to call it, totally outside of anything you know now, is amazing. And all that it needs to accept it and smile, and it stays. And the value in everything that we have increases. I didn't realize how closely I was tied to some of the plants. And there's one, we have a lot of rosemary growing here. And I saw part of the plant that had died off a little bit. And I said, boy, that looks like tea tree from Australia. And we use tea tree oil for healing and all sorts of things. So I walked over and I got a little bit of the rosemary and squeezed it up. And sure enough, the part of that plant, which is common to the part of the plant we have from Australia, did exactly the same thing for me. I just got a whiff of it and said, oh, that feels so magic. And so we don't know where the qualities are, where they're hidden and what they're hidden in. But around us all is everything we need. So now I've got a few bits of rosemary in water beside my bed, and I go to bed totally relaxed. It feels like home. It's one of those things that has come into my world in another country because it's presented to the part of you that is sensitive to the gifts that are arriving. There's many other things that I could relate But that's just a nice example. And a flower will turn up that has a special smell that takes you into a whole different phase of your life. Changes your day, changes your attitude, changes the feedback to the special world where you come from. So knowing that much of this is available to us on a daily basis, it's easy to make that little bit of time to be connected to anything and everything, even if it's the colour of your office or the way your desk's laid out. That little bit of time of looking at what's being delivered to the world right now. And it's not appreciation, it's acceptance. Once you accept it, it's there and you watch. Even if you're in an office and you accept how beautiful that looks, next thing it'll start to spread. And instead of living in a place that's difficult, you'll be living in a place of beauty. So I think we've covered a lot of things. There's a lot more I could say. But we'll come back again next week and discover a lot of new things. So thank you once again. Bye for now.